Hello, future Grandmasters. I am so sick and tired that I forget what day it is on the journey, but the tournament has continued. We finished the fifth round today, played rounds 4 and 5. My the second game was a very brief draw against Christopher Yu, which I'll check briefly, but basically just a short update regarding the hospital. Since I took a quick draw after 10 moves, I was able to go to the hospital and get prescribed antibiotics. I have a middle ear infection in both of my ears, which is why I have the extreme pain. I also have tinnitus, which is causing very, very loud ringing in the ears. So most players might drop out or start playing worse or, start to make excuses. But when playing chess under excruciating pain, I only play better. So let's get into the game. So keep in mind, I showed up 20 minutes late to the game. The only reason I actually even made it to the game was this morning I woke up 5 a.m. Instead of my right ear, now it's my left ear. Pain, pain, blah blah blah. Then I wake up, I see my phone like 9:16, but I'm not really processing that I have a game at 9 a.m. And then I get a call and they're like, are you gonna go to the game? And I realize, wait, it's the game started. So I rush to the game 20 minutes late. As you can see, an hour and 10 instead of an hour 30. No preparation. I see a message from my second, like 10 messages that I didn't read. And one of the messages says he might go Caro-Kann. So I'm like, okay, e4 Caro-Kann, let me figure it out. c6, d4, d5, e5, bishop f5. I wasn't sure if he would go c5, bishop f5. I'm playing, this is complete improv. Bishop f5, knight f3, bishop e2, the normal stuff. Knight d7, castles, a5. And the point of a5, it's a bit of a trendy line, is that if you go back with a4, people play f6, and they try to sort of challenge the center. So the point behind a5 is sort of just to take some space on the queen side, and to basically say that the position is so close that black can afford to take time. However, I was aware of this move, and I played the move knight c3. Now, knight c3 looks a bit weird. The knight doesn't usually go to c3. But the point is that after my opponent plays a4, I go bishop b2. And I'm essentially saying, well, look, I've developed my two knights. I've developed my two bishops. I've castled my king. You've moved your knight and your bishop. Your king is still in the center. You haven't developed any of your pieces. I've got a massive lead in development. And so because of this, I have time. So they go a3, b3, h6. I go h3, covering the square, maybe g4 at some point. Bishop back h7, rook e1, knight e7, rook c1. The point is that my opponent doesn't really, they need to castle the king, right? You don't really want to go g5 to weaken your king side. So you have to move the knight. But as soon as they move the knight, the bishop comes to d3. And then now, again, his pieces are a bit uncomfortable. So I'm just waiting, rook c1, rook c1. I've dealt my pieces. I'm saying, okay, make a decision. What are you going to do? So he goes knight f5. Now I go bishop d3, bishop b7, knight e2. I'm maneuvering the knight to f4 into h5. Also ready to, respond to c5 with c3. There is a nice variation. If I play c5, I wanted to play c4. And he has this move knight takes d4. And I can't take back because if takes, and I'm down a pawn. But I had this sort of a nice idea to play knight takes d4. And obviously you don't want to take back, because now, the king is just stuck in the center. So you take this. And then after some thought, I realized that I can play the move knight takes c6. And pawn takes c6, I play knight f4. Okay, I'm threatening, the bishop and the knight. The bishop probably goes back to defend the pawn. Now I go queen h5 check. If you block with g6, I play knight takes. You can't really allow some discovery. So let's say you take, I take, bishop takes h6. Let's say king g8, now I go rook c3, rook comes to g3. And I thought it was quite nice. So this knight takes f4. And obviously here I thought I can just take. You can't take back because the bishop is hanging. I'm curious what the engine says about all this. I wonder if it's the best move. Oh, wow, it is actually the best move. So after c5, is c4 the best move? Oh, so I should just play d takes simply. So c4, they could just take. However, my idea to sacrifice is actually the best move. Wow. Okay, so at least I can see some things. I'm not a complete idiot. Anyways, are they going out of 4, takes, or trades? But my knight on d3 is just amazing. I go queen g4, trying to play f4. Queen g5, queen d2, king h8, f4. I'm starting to push, on the king side, I've got a big space advantage. Queen h4, f1, rook c8, g3. You can't take this because of f5. And I'm going knight f4 next. If you take back knight f4, the queen's trapped. I guess I go rook f4, g5. Yeah, what was my plan? Maybe even this is fine. What does the computer say? Yeah. So we get the two rooks for the queen, but knight comes here, next the queen comes in. I've got e6 ideas. His position is just too weak. So he goes back. Now I go f5. He goes takes, rook takes f5. Rook e8. I go c3. This is sort of a prophylaxis move. He wants to go c3. And basically the entire point of this is that here I wanted to play e6. Pawn takes knight f4. Obviously with all these sort of threats and stuff. But rook f6 was my problem. After rook f6, you sort of cover g6, you protect e6, and I don't really have much after rook f6. So my point was, okay, let me play c3, because if here e6 takes knight f4, rook f6, now I have knight takes d5, taking advantage of the pin. So I thought, let me play c6 to provoke c5. So I see this, he takes, he goes knight f6, and at this moment, I had sort of seen the optimal variation, which is to play knight e5. You can't take because of check. You sort of have to take with the queen. I give a check. They win the queen. And now there's a rook, knight, and pawn for a queen, which technically is equal material, 9 for 9. And here I guess I have to find this sort of weird move, rook takes c8, rook takes c8, queen c2. And I saw this, but what I missed, which is the critical resource, is that after rook to e3, obviously if I go king f2 or king g2, like king f2, rook c3, and I can't take because of check, and I was worried. But obviously here, I just have queen c8 check. And if here I pick this up with check, and then I can pick this up with check, and then this, and I sort of, this pawn should be quite fast. But I wasn't really sure how to evaluate this. It's quite difficult. So I decided to play rook e8, and practically it's quite a difficult move, and we're getting quite low on time. I spent 15 minutes here. He goes king g8, which is a mistake. I thought that he should take, and my point was to take at queen d8, knight f4. And it's a bit funny that he actually just has to sacrifice the exchange. And I sort of realized this during the game, but this pawn is so annoying that in the endgames, this pawn is just such a massive weakness, and my king is also quite weak as well. So he had to sacrifice the exchange, which is not easy at all. He goes king g8. Now I go knight f4, rook c8. He just blunders here. He's sort of just stuck. He doesn't really have a good move. He has to give up the exchange again. But yeah, after rook c8, I just take. I'm gonna stick with the queen. Rook e7, the queen is just trapped. So in general, it was a pretty high quality game. Like considering the opening, this sort of I was very very familiar with the ideas. This rook e1, rook c1 looks a bit weird, but you sort of need to understand that black doesn't have really a productive way to improve the position and is forced to go knight f6, knight g6, after which you improve your bishop and then the knight. So it was a good sort of positional game. Failed to convert it in the most accurate and precise way. But considering a morning round that I showed up 20 minutes late to, which I almost even forfeited, I would say it is a success. End of the 5th round against Christopher Yu. After 10 moves, we agreed to a draw. It was quite a dull position regardless, so that isn't really too relevant. I'll just show it briefly. It was a Marshall, and here we agreed to a draw. It's a very equal position. I thought it was going to be a draw anyways, and I offered a draw because I thought, okay, there's no way I'm winning this, first of all. And second of all, I need to rest and go to the hospital, so I wanted to buy myself some extra time to rest. So that puts me to 4.5 out of 5. We've got 6 people on a perfect score, but some very strong opponents, so hopefully some draws. Looks like first should be around 8 out of 9. And I'll have to score 3 wins and only 1 draw in the next 4 games to give myself a chance. I don't think 7.5 would be enough. Definitely not enough. So, thank you guys for watching the video. The journey continues, still gaining some rating. We're playing around a 2480 tomorrow night. So, I'm going to try to make the most of that and to continue playing well. It looks like I should be able to play Menorca. I've taken antibiotics. Hopefully, I'm feeling better. and ready to play my next tournament after this. And then after this, so I play here, and then Menorca, I do have quite a long break to recover. So, thank you for all the support. Thank you for watching the videos. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will try my best to keep the energy, the power, and the fighting spirit